Hey, everybody. Derek Sheridan from Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network. I had the privilege of talking to one of my longtime basketball coaching friends here recently. And that coach would be Coach Mike McBride from Holy Cross College, located in South Bend, Indiana. And Mike's a fascinating guy to speak with. Every time I talk to Mike, I learn something new. Mike is a fantastic, most effective teacher of pure motion offense. They don't screen on the ball a lot. I would say 99% of Mike's team's screening and cutting action are off the ball. But the antithesis of our conversation was Mike was talking about playing in multiples and how he stresses to his team to play in multiples. How many multiple things can his team do in a row? How many good things they can do in a row, I should say. And if I ever was lucky enough to, or had the energy to get back into head coaching, that would be something that I think we would really stress playing in multiples. How many good things can you do in a row? So this game is from my last year at Maumee High School, and this is the rat tail game of the 2017 sectional. We're playing a conference foe from the Northern Lakes League, which is one of the better basketball conferences in the state of Ohio, in my humble opinion. But this team was just a group of old school, typical Maumee grinders. We weren't necessarily over talented. We had some decent skill players who'd put a lot of time in over the years in our program. But these guys would just flat out sit down and guard, and then offensively just grind and grind and grind in our blocker mover, no matter what alignment we were in. But they were a fun group to coach. This game, for a lot of reasons, was interesting, but more so because we got banjaxed by our upper echelon admin. They had scheduled our senior trip simultaneous with our sectional tournament dates. So a lot of the kids on the floor of this game had played on the junior varsity and had very little varsity experience. So it was a big question mark as to whether or not we were going to be able to compete at a high level. But it was kind of funny before the game started. The opposition's coach, who is a good friend of mine, he had made a comment about, "Man, I'm sorry about situation you got put in here, and maybe it'll end up being a good game." Well, I went back to the locker room and told the kids that while they're putting their snap pants away at the 10-minute mark of our 20-minute warm up, and just see if it'd light a little bit of a fire underneath them. And it ended up working as we won this game. But let's see how well we play in multiples here. So Bowling Green just secured the tip. And so we're going to scramble back here in our zone, which we'd played pretty darn well for a lot of years at Maumee. And right there, Connor Greats are facing the basket, the right side or defensive left side wing in our 2-1-2 zone. Made a really nice read on an overload set that Bowling Green started the game in. And let's watch that again. I just got a new computer, and it's a whole new world for me. So you're going to have to be patient with me. So there's the tip. Here comes the overload. We called this set in our preparation, in our shell drills, Balpo. So Connor gets a steal, and here we are. We're off to our first offensive possession. We're in lane blocker mover, and Hunter Thomason sets a good back screen there, and there's a nice feed to our four-man Blake. And just get a couple reversals, and there's our best shooter. So we get our best shooter the ball, and that's a good example, I think, of starting the game in multiples. We forced a turnover, came down, took advantage of it. And those first two possessions of the game, one being offensive, that being a defensive stand, I think we did a really nice job there of setting the pace of the game. This Bowling Green team was very talented, as they had four guards who were all shooting well over 40% from the three-point line. So we had to extend that a little bit more in our zone than we had to. And one of their good guards there, it's the Elsauser boy, who's currently playing or had played Division I basketball at Bowling Green State University. Hits a tough jump shot. Come down back into lane, and they chose to sit in and not guard Blake, who was a really good shooter from that high elbow extended, which we called the pro spot in lane, and buried the three. So we get out to a nice lead, force the opposition to call timeout, and got our kids' heart rates up, got their blood pumping a little bit, got them excited. More so, the importance of that is more so for the younger kids who are actually a lot nervous taking the court that game, as they hadn't had much varsity experience. But that, I think, is a pretty good example of doing a couple good things in a row. So maybe think about that this summer and into next season, talking to your team about playing in multiples. How many good things can you do in a row? Hey, have a great weekend. God bless, and send us your stuff. We're always looking for material to post in our In Ted's Honor weekly free newsletter. Send an email to me with anything you'd like posted, and we'll get it in that newsletter. The newsletter's going out now to about 6,000 people, which is great. Volume 32 or 33 will be coming out in a couple days, this upcoming Monday. But hey, have a great weekend. Think about what we talked about. It might be old news for some of you, but I think the idea of training kids to play in multiples, to get that mindset of playing in multiples, could be something that you find very valuable leading into the summer and going into next season in your preparation. Hey, have a great weekend. God bless.